Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Transport Fever! I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be jumping back in to Transport Fever. It's been a considerable amount of time since my last series on this, so I'm definitely keen to go ahead and get started. And what's more, I don't remember if I ever actually started in the year of 1850, but that's what we're doing today. We're also playing on an American map, which I also don't know if I ever did before. But whatever, I said I'd do this eventually. We're finally getting around to it. So, if you don't know what this game is, I would encourage you to go back and check some of my older Transport Fever videos to get an idea of what's going on there. But it has also been such a long time since I played this that I've forgotten most of how the game works. So this is also going to be a relearning experience for me. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. We have the city of Chicago right here in front of me. And if we zoom out a little bit, we have Lafayette, we have Salt Lake City, we have Santa Rosa, we have Elgin, and we have the Grand Prairie over here. We also have Durham way down there, Miami, that place. We have Arlington, we have Modesto. We have quite a few towns around here, and there's a couple of ways in this game to make good money that I remember. One of those is public transport from a bunch of different towns. So what we can go ahead and do is use Chicago as our central hub, effectively using it as a monetary battery to start bringing in some funds. So what we can do is if we set a bus station here, here, and actually we would only need 3. Because what we can do is have buses that go from Chicago and go around Chicago, but also buses that will go out to Lafayette, Salt Lake City, Elgin, Grand Prairie, and also if we want to, Santa Rosa. And that will mean that if someone wants to go from Elgin to Salt Lake City, they go from here to Chicago. They then transfer onto another bus that'll take them from that station to the next station. They transfer from that station onto another bus that'll take them to Salt Lake City. So it means that they have to go through Chicago to get around this region via public transport. It's a very similar strategy to stuff I do in City Skylines. So we're gonna give it a shot. So what we'll do is we'll get ourselves a little bus/tram station. It would be nice if I don't have to have trams on this. So we'll get a little bus/tram station. What I'll do is use a large one just down here. So it's going to go... How do you rotate in this game? I've completely forgotten how you would actually rotate things. It's not Q and A. It's not right click. I have actually legitimately forgotten how you rotate things in this. There is a strategy to it. Hold on. You know what? We'll get it in a minute. We don't need to rotate it anyway. We'll put a large bus/tram station. No, you know what? I do want to rotate this. It's not that. It's not that. It's not controlling anything. All right, we're going to look up the controls real quick. Turns out it's going to be N and M that let you rotate. And if you use shift, it'll rotate slower and slightly less. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is rotate this like so. And I want to put it at the end of this road. Because that seems like a pretty good place to put this bus station. I want to rotate it a little bit as well, just to sort of have it line up nicely with the road there. So something just a little bit like that, I think. Right at the end of that road. That might hurt the growth of that area, but there we go. $16.9 thousand to go ahead and place that bus station there. The next thing I'm going to do is get a bus/tram station just here. So it's going to go and bulldoze, hopefully only like one building, preferably. I don't think I'm going to have that luck, though, to only bulldoze the one building. Yeah, it's going to be 2 of them. What if we just do it right there at the end, so we only bulldoze one building? So something a bit like that. 109,000, though. Okay, maybe not. Let's just put it on the dirt road, so it's only 9.5k, or even less there. 9.8, that'll do. So a little bus station there. And what we'll do next is put a little bus station just up here as well. So out on the road to Lafayette. So we'll go ahead and throw a little bus station just there as well. And what we can do is go ahead and set up bus and tram stops. So we can have bus stops that go, you know, in and around the city. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put one right in the middle of Chicago there, and on the opposite side of the road too. Because what we can do is we can set up a thing there where that'll work really well for us. So if we want to make a new line, we'll go to here and we'll say it starts there. It'll go out to that stop. It'll go to that stop. It'll go to that stop. Then it'll go to that one. And then it'll go back to here. So we have the 5 different stops. Chicago Exchange going to Elm Street, going to Chicago Transfer, to Sidings, and then back to Elm Street, but on the other side of the road. So that's going to loop around Chicago and let people get around the place. I don't actually know what this button does. Oh, I see. So that says what kind of load that it's going to have. It's going to just be... Okay. All right. That's fair enough. So what is this button? I think that's just add stops. All right. Some of this is new. It's been quite a while. But that's going to be the Chicago line. So we'll go ahead and rename that to the Chicago... That's Chicago, right? Bus loop. And that'll be fine. So the Chicago bus loop is going to go like that. What we then want to do is we want to go up to Salt Lake City. And I want to go ahead and say that there's going to be a bus/tram station. Now the problem here is it's going to have to be like right in the middle unless I do a stop. So I think I might just do a stop, to be honest. Right in the middle. That'll save me some money. And it means I don't have to bulldoze anything. Lafayette's going to be a similar story. Stop in the middle there. I want a stop done in the middle of Grand Prairie. And I want one done in Elgin as well. So right there. And what we'll do at this point is say that we're going to have a stop that goes from here. So Chicago Transfer out to this spot there on Broadway Street. So that's fine. So that's going to be, line 1 is going to be Chicago to Salt Lake City. So we'll say CHICA Chicago to Salt Lake City. Actually, we'll just do a little slash in there. So Chicago Salt Lake City line. Oh, I didn't save it. Darn it. Let's just say CHIC to Salt Lake City is what that'll be. So that's one line going out there. And what that means is anyone that comes in that green line has to transfer onto the yellow if they want to go up to here. So the next thing we'll do is say we want to go from Chicago Sidings up to the stop here in Lafayette. And there we go. Now the bus will sort of loop around there as it needs to do. So we'll rename line 1 again from line 1 to Chic/Lafayette. So we know where that line's going. And that's totally fine. The next step is going to be a bus line that goes... Oh, this one might be a little bit tricky, actually. Bus line that goes from Chicago Exchange down to... let's go to here. So right to there. And that'll be fine. So line 1, I believe that was Elgin, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So line 1 is going to be renamed to Chic/L. There we go. So we know where those lines are going. I really should put like B at the end of those. I'm actually going to do that just so I know immediately. So if I do at the beginning B, that'll let me know it's a bus line. Makes it much, much easier to stay on top of these lines later down the line. Because we're eventually going to have, we might have boats, we might have trains. We're going to have all that kind of stuff. So we're going to want to make sure that we are labeling them properly. So B for bus, T for train, S for ship, P for plane. So those are all bus lines. We'll go ahead and close all of those. And what we need to do at this point is actually get ourselves one of these, a road depot. So what I'll do is I'll throw the road depot into this spot here. I will bulldoze a building for this. Actually, can I look at... how do I view zoning? There's overlays that I want to see here. That right there. So yeah, I want to put this, the bus depot just over here by the industrial space. Because where you put the stations and all that stuff will have an impact on how it ends up performing. So we'll go ahead and put the bus depot or the road depot just there. Not only will buses come out of that, but also we'll see trucks come out of that as well. But for the time being, so a horse carriage will do passengers. The wagon will do goods. So this can carry 4 people, which is a bit of an issue. So what we'll do is just we'll buy ourselves maybe 4, I mean, it's 13.7k each. But let's get the buses to be blue. So if I buy 1, 2, 3, 4, I can set the line for all of those to be Chicago to Elgin. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be Chicago to Lafayette. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chicago to Salt Lake City. And then 1, 2, and set those in the Chicago bus loop. So that right there will, as time goes by, hopefully start making me some money. Now there go the carts doing their thing. I believe there is a way I can turn on the an overlay to show me where they all are. Oh no, it's if I zoom out I can see. So yeah, they're gonna start costing me money. $191 each per whatever, you know, per given amount of time. That's fine. Because as long as people start, you know, wanting to use public transport, which they very well should eventually decide to start using public transport, we should start seeing some money come in. Now, it is worth noting that it will take some time. I may very well go bankrupt in the middle of this. But what I can also do, and what I'll do is actually slow the game down while I'm talking about this, is I can set up cargo lines. So this facility here is an oil well. Now this oil well will produce crude oil. I can take that crude oil via wagons up to here, which is an oil refinery, which will turn it into oil and fuel. So if I take crude oil from here to here, that will pay me. They will pay me for, you know, bringing the resources. Fuel, oil, all that stuff can be used and consumed, so we will eventually want to start bringing cargo into the city. But even down here, this place is going to need iron ore and coal. Don't know what happened to my voice there. And it will produce steel and slag. So what we can do is we can go ahead and bring iron ore, bring coal over here, and we'll get some money because we're bringing some resources. Now there's coal right there. There is that stone? Yeah, that's going to be stone, so that's not going to be useful for me. The nearest iron mine is going to be down there in Elgin. So we'd bring iron from here to the Chicago steel mill. We'd bring coal from Chicago coal mine. We could even build a little road directly across there to make it a little bit quicker. That is definitely a thing we could do, because that would make sense. So that's a line we could set up. We could set up some cargo lines so that we start producing steel. And that steel can be used to produce, I think, I don't remember off the top of my head, this over here. So steel and lumber planks can be turned into tools as well as machines. Actually, no. Steel on its own can become tools. 2 bits of lumber can also become tools. 2 bits of lumber and 1 bit of steel, or 1 bit of steel and 1 bit of plastic can become machines. So either steel on its own or wood on its own we can turn into tools, which can then be consumed by a town. So that might very well be something we want to set up at some point. The problem is, if there's no consumption, if there gets to a point, if we get to a point where our production line isn't getting to the end. So let me back up a little bit. Basically, what I'm saying is, if we start, you know, going through the works to mine iron and then turn it into steel, and then we take it to the machine factory, we can do all of that. But eventually, that production line will shut down if the products, so the tools, aren't being consumed. Because every city has needs. So Grand Prairie here, for example, they want tools, they want food, they want goods. That's for shopping facilities. And at the moment, we have a poor supply. We have nothing. So for jobs, they're also going to want construction materials, machines, and fuel. Again, we're providing none. If we can provide all of this and really good transport connections, then what'll happen is the city will grow quite quickly, quite rapidly. So what I'm thinking is I want to try and grow Chicago. So my central city, it's the hub of all my stuff. I'm going to try and grow Chicago. Then we'll try and grow other cities as well. So at the moment, what we're going to need to do is probably pick one item to start bringing in here. Now, food is the easiest one because food is going to be, let's see, where would we go? So over here, we have Salt Lake City Farm. We could take grain and livestock from Salt Lake City Farm, and we would take it to this place down here, Santa Rosa Food Processing Plant. We'd have all that stuff going from here to Chicago, where the food would be consumed by the population. We could bring stuff from this farm over here and process it over that way in the Miami Food Processing Plant, or we could process it in the Arlington Food Processing Plant. There's a lot of different places we can process all this stuff, and that's why you need to set up lines that, number one, are well labeled, because eventually there will be a lot of them, and number two, that you can just understand, you know where everything's going. You need to make sure you complete your production line. That's the one rule that I find with this game. If you don't complete it, it will shut down eventually, and eventually it's just going to cost you money. It's not going to make you anything. So, what I'm going to do is set up a fairly cheap and basic line to start producing tools, because we can make them out of wood. So what we have here is the Grand Prairie Forest. So if we start taking some lumber from the Grand Prairie Forest, we can take that over to the Santa Rosa Sawmill and then bring it down here. Actually, we could go one better. Oh, there's a forest right there in Durham, but there's nowhere nearby we can process that into, well, actually, no, there is the Durham Sawmill just over there, which is not a bad distance, but then it needs to come back up to Chicago. This is why trains are going to be necessary later, but right now trains are going to be super expensive. So what I think we'll do instead is we'll build a road from the Elgin Forest going over to the Santa Rosa Sawmill. Then we'll take that lumber. Oh, that's still a tricky one. It's still a hell of a distance. That lumber, I think, is just going to have to go to here, then up to Chicago. I think that's going to have to be what we do. So, let me build a little dirt road, small country road from there. It's going to be a little bit pricey. Can I raise and lower this? Yeah, I can. A little bit pricey, but that's all right. I just want to build it out. I don't want it to be too expensive, though, is the thing. Because if it gets too expensive, that's going to just really not be worth it. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't build roads. We don't really have the money for it yet. So what we'll do is we're going to need a truck station. So the truck station number one is going to go there, all right? And that's going to be the one that picks up the lumber from Elgin Forest. The next job is going to be to take that lumber over to this sawmill, unless there happens to be one up near Chicago, which there is not. There's a lot of coal up and around this area, though. 2 of them in Salt Lake City, which is really good for us because we're going to need that later. What we'll do then is we'll take lumber from here. Is there a sawmill anywhere else in this area? I think this is the only one on this side of the river, which is really unfortunate. So yeah, that's going to be the case. We're going to take lumber from that forest. We're going to take it over to here. So we'll spin this around a little bit. That is going to eat into the terrain quite a bit there. That's going to be a problem. Can I get it there by any chance? A little bit cheaper. That'll do. So that's going to bring the lumber to here. It'll get dropped off and then consumed by the sawmill. This will also double up as the depot that takes the sawn up lumber from here and over to here. So we're going to need another truck station. I'll actually go for a large one because we'll probably be bringing a lot of stuff here at some point in the future. So a large truck station can go there. And then tools are going to be consumed by commercial premises. So it makes sense to me to go ahead and put this little truck station somewhere like there. Actually, to be honest, somewhere like there would make a lot more sense, right in the middle. Very expensive to bulldoze all of that stuff, but honestly, probably worth it. Unless I can get it on this side and not bulldoze as much. Oh, 200 and... Maybe I just build a road out to this. So that's going to be 8.9 thousand. And a little street going to that is going to be 103. That's still cheaper, so that'll do the job. So that right there is going to be our production line. So if we go from the start here, we're going to have a line that goes from point A to point B. And that's fine. That's all that I want that to do. All right, so that is going to be wood from Elgin to Salt Lake City. So what we need to do is rename this to be a truck line. And that's going to be lumber to... I don't know. How are we going to do this? Wood, Elgin to lumber, Salt Lake City. That's a messy name, but wood from Elgin to lumber in Salt Lake City. All right, now we'll get trucks on that in a second. What we then do is have lumber from Salt Lake City. Well, it's planks. It's called planks. I really should name it planks. So planks from Salt Lake City to tools in Grand Prairie. So this is another truck line. Planks from Salt Lake City to tools in GP. I think. I can't do anything else in that. That's a lengthy line, lengthy name. So that's fine. Plank from Salt Lake City to tools in GP. Let me just rename this one as well, so it's not wood. It is going to be planks. So planks. No. Wood to plank. That should be fine. Kind of messy names, but they do the job. All right. So we have those two lines. We have the wood to planks, planks to tools, and then we need tools up to Chicago. And that'll be fine. So that is going to be another truck line, which is going to be tools from GP to Chicago. And it's that simple. So that's our production line. From start to finish, we turn wood into planks, planks into tools, and then the tools get consumed by commercial premises in Chicago. So that is a completed production line, in theory, assuming it works. Now, the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get trucks. So, well, I say trucks, horse wagons. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to set these up so they only carry one thing, because they don't need to carry anything else. So we're going to get 4 wagons, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will only carry logs. So that is going to be wood to planks. It will carry logs and have them turned into planks. They will be going back empty, which is fine for the time being. These lines are not going to be the most efficient just yet. Then what we're going to do is said that this next set of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, are going to carry planks. So they are on the planks to tools line. Then these last guys are going to be tools. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Set the line, tools to Chicago. So that's a lot of vehicles. Probably not going to make much money to get to begin with. But eventually, we should see some money come our way. There's also a couple of people on that, the horse there on the wagon. So that's going to be pretty good news for us. We're going to start making money fairly soon, I hope. We're not going to see too many people moving around Chicago just yet. Actually, you know what? I tell a lie. There's a lot of people just waiting there. So maybe we will see some good stuff come about. But we are going to have to just wait. These guys are super slow. There's 4 people on there. They have passengers. It's just, you know, it's going to take a while before we really start seeing much from it. Actually, 641 over there, not bad. You can see the little characters there, shows how many passengers are currently waiting at this location for a bus. So we'll see. I mean, this guy's rocking up with some passengers. How much is that going to get me, though? That's the real question. $1,700. That's actually not terrible. We might end up just needing more buses to get people around. I would love to know where you guys are going, actually. What line are you currently waiting for? So you're on the Chicago to Elgin line. You're Chicago to Elgin, Chicago to Elgin. So it looks to me like we need more buses on that line. You are on the Chicago to Salt Lake City. And, oh, I just got 5.4 thousand. Not bad. Over here, there's a couple of people waiting on the Chicago to Lafayette line and a couple on the Chicago bus loop as well. Okay. Okay. Maybe, just maybe, we need to... I mean, you're on the Chicago bus loop. You're going to some shops. Where are you going to shop, though? Oh, you're going to shop way down there in Elgin. It looks like the Elgin line needs a few more buses to me. That's kind of what that says to me. I don't know just how much money we're going to make. Because we have spent a lot. We spent a lot of money in just general infrastructure. So we're currently... I mean, you guys... Yeah, you're all on the Elgin line. Right. What we'll do is we'll get a few more buses for the Chicago to Elgin line. I think we made them like blue. I don't know what shade of blue we made them, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set you on Chicago to Elgin. And away they go. So they're going to cost me some money while they're, you know, getting into the line and getting set up. But eventually we should see... what is this? Traffic check speed limits. Track speed limits. Oh, track speed. Yeah, I thought it said traffic. Yeah, this one here is quite busy. This one here is quite busy too. But if we can get the Elgin one working really nicely, we should be okay. We also have some trucks over here who are they carrying anything? No, 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 and no. All right. Next question, I suppose. Is so this place here actually has got some goods. There is a lot of wood lying about there, so that's ready to be transferred. The problem is these guys are all in one group, so they're going to be costing me some considerable cash. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to build that road. I know it's going to be expensive. I know it's going to be super expensive. But I'm going to build that road so that oh, let's not try and be too pricey here. Let's be careful. This might bankrupt me, but whatever. I'm going to build this because it will be quicker for those guys to go back and forth between these two. And I think if I can make the profits from it, then obviously it was a worthwhile investment. If not, then oh dear. Ooh, careful, careful, careful. Don't want to spend too much on this because the more we have to alter the terrain, the more this is going to cost. I can turn on, that right there to see where the terrain sort of goes and, you know, see the flows of the terrain and that stuff. But right there should be fine. So yeah, that cost a considerable amount of cash, but to be honest, I think that'll be all right. Cancel that, close that, speed things up. So those guys are going to be able to go back and forth along those two paths or along that new road. So we should see them come out and turn to the right. Yeah, there we go. That's going to make life a lot easier for those guys. As for the Elgin line, still quite busy. 2.69 thousand there is not bad at all. A little bit of money there as well, $633. As long as we can make money, we're fine. I also want to look, Elgin itself is kind of busy. Salt Lake City looks to have quite a few people waiting at that stop as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people waiting there. Okay. So we went to Elgin, Salt Lake, and Lafayette. Lafayette is also quite busy. Might have been an idea to put some proper bus stops in there rather than just ones on the side of the road. It does look to me like, yeah, considerable number of people wanting to go to Lafayette. Might need to get a few more buses in there as well. But we'll see. We will see. Oh, wow. There's a lot of logs lying around in there, which is really good news. This is actually pretty much full up at this point. But this is really good news because it means like these guys can't carry that much. It also means the production of this thing is pretty good. It's currently not using the line, I think, because that area is full completely. But what we should end up seeing is, number one, a bunch of trucks over here that are currently empty. Now, they're going to be empty for a long time. But eventually they'll get working. Like this guy here is about to get working. This guy's going to come in. He's going to be like, yo, I see you've got some logs for me. So he's going to come in. He's going to take 4 units of logs there, and that's going to be on the way to be processed into planks. So that right there is going to be the beginning of our first production line, which is pretty cool. I'm also fairly convinced that we're currently losing money, which is a problem. I mean, it's obviously a problem. Quite a lot of people still waiting in Elgin. Quite a few buses actually coming in as well. Like they're... Okay, that one's not full, which is fair enough. But I'm curious to see, you know, when it rocks up, I don't think people pay until they get off of the bus. Yeah, so it's going to pick up 4 people. That one is going to pick up a few people as well. But that'll be good money. I'm also pretty sure this game calculates money based on the distance traveled. So in this case, we should see, you know, a bit of money off of that. So $5,000, not bad. That's going to be another 5,000. That's going to be another 5,000. So if we can keep making $5,000 off of all of these, we should be okay. Each one of these wagons costs, oh, how much? Like 100, you know, about 200 every X number of minutes. So whatever. Yeah, they're expensive, but we are making some money. If we look at this, I mean, we can see that our income from road vehicles is currently about 62,000. It was 62,000 last year. It was 20,000 in 1851. This year thus far, 66,000. My expenditure on construction last year was quite a bit. New vehicles was quite a bit. I haven't bought any new vehicles this year. So I want to see what my general running costs end up being this year. It looks like we're still losing money. It looks like we're still going to be losing about $40,000 by the time 1853 is up. Now that is with no construction costs, and that is with no new vehicles. So what that tells me, yeah, so end of 1853 minus 30,000. So that tells me we either need more vehicles to move more people, or we need to cut down on the number of vehicles. Now I can borrow money. I can borrow a considerable amount of money if I need to. I think you can borrow up to 100 million. I think maybe it's 5 million. I don't know. I know you can borrow a lot of money. I don't think it's 100 million. That seems way too much. You can borrow a lot of money. And you do eventually have to pay that back. You will absolutely want to pay that back. But I don't think we're at a point where we need to do that. I don't think I'm too stressed about it. I mean, looking at our income this year thus far, we're only losing 18,000. So if by the end of 1854, I'm seeing a sizable increase in the amount of money we're making, even if, you know, we're not yet making a profit, if we're losing less, then that is going to be a good sign. We're also finally producing some lumber. If we're losing less, that means that we are on our way to potentially making a profit. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually leave it there for today. I think you've maybe got a bit of an idea of what Transport Fever is going to be about. I think next time what we'll do is just keep an eye on our lines and expand a little bit further. I would really like to get a bus line going down to Grand Prairie because we don't currently have that. I think it would be nice to, you know, get more people moving. But it is a tricky one because it is 1854 and vehicles are incredibly slow. Either way, thank you kind of for watching. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. With this being part 1 of a new series, do be sure to show some support, show that love and all that stuff that I know you have deep down. But with that in mind, thank you kind of for watching. This has been Transport Fever part 1, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!